What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're covering some more r/am I the butthole. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and maybe that notification bell too, as it all really helps out our channel. And hey guys, we're now on podcast. So you can take me with you wherever you want to go. We're on a whole selection of different podcasts from Anchor to Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast and of course Spotify. So if you fancy, if you're going for a run or whatever, you know, just put me in your pocket. It's always appreciated if you watch it here first though, because I make nothing for podcasts. And here's how you can support the channel if you really want to. No pressure though. You can click that join button below if you're on desktop of course, and you can also go over to Patreon where we have some different levels and perks involved as well. I want to start creating membership videos as well as the everyday videos as well, where you guys can choose what subreddits you want to cover, and it just gives me a lot more flexibility with your support. And we had a new member yesterday, Annie Lucy. Thank you so much for joining us. You're really appreciated. And with that being said, let's get in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from By the Twin Moons. Am I the arsehole for making customers that stiff me on the tip my last priority? I, 21 female, am a server in a small town in Kansas, where the minimum wage for waitress is $2.13 an hour, which is just enough to cover income taxes. Due to that, all of my income and most of the servers in the state is comprised of tips. Recently, I got into an argument with an acquaintance, 25 male of mine. He'd mentioned how he doesn't believe in tipping, and that it wasn't right of me to treat customers that never tip as less important than any other customers. Generally, if I have a lot of tables, I will put off serving cheapskates until my other tables are caught up. I understand that the tipping system is broken, but I also believe people that don't tip with the mindset of, I'm going to change the system, are either consciously or subconsciously taking advantage of it. And I believe a portion of people refusing to tip is not going to change the system and force my employers to give me a living wage, but instead just screw me over because I live in a small town and don't have the option of finding a different job. Am I the arsehole here? I know my opinion is entirely biased. What do you think? Edit. Everyone talking about how servers in cities make beaucoup money. It's French, I guess. Please keep in mind the average server in my small town post tips will make about $7.50 on the lowest day, to $10 on the highest day. And in the state of Kansas, if you don't make the full minimum wage, your employer is supposed to, though this doesn't always happen in locally owned businesses. Edit. Me doing this only applies to regular customers. Just like Ronnie said, not the arsehole. Fuck literally every person that doesn't believe in tipping. Edit. If you live somewhere that pays the waitstaff a living wage, then feel free not to tip. If you live in America and don't tip when you go out to eat, make your own food. Howard Could It Be replies, maybe we should just pay servers a living wage instead of making weird awkward custom of tipping. Edit. I'm not suggesting not tipping right now, just that I would rather they pay the servers as well, then we can get rid of tipping. The amount of people jumping to conclusions in this thread is staggering. Riversong47 replies, then lobby the government, don't punish servers who have no say in the matter. Coca-Cola 2019 says, literally this, I'm from the UK where we have a national minimum wage. Every employer by law must pay staff at least the amount for any role. It's reviewed every year in line with inflation and the cost of living, usually going up every April. We do leave tips for people when we want to, but it's not an obligation. It's just polite that if you feel your waiter/waitress has done a good job, they should probably get one. Actually, on my first ever trip to you guys, I was confused with the whole 10-20%, whatever it was. Maths is hard, and I had a really good meal. All I wanted was to nap. I've read a lot of posts like this and I appreciate the circumstances. You must be being paid less than someone in a sweatshop in Korea. I don't think it's fair to take it out on the customers either. It's not their fault your boss won't pay you enough money to live. It's not the customers and it's not yours. Real change needs to happen. I always find that the US tipping system absolutely confusing. I'm just like, earning $2 something an hour. If you don't get imagine if you didn't get a tip. That'd be it. How? I just don't understand. How can you live? You can't live like that. I'm sure you US folks will jump on this one because I haven't got a clue about US tipping, but it sounds absolutely awful. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on the poll in the description. Our next story comes from Coyote Psychological. Am I the arsehole for asking my friend for a boob voyage party? A while ago, my doctor found a cancerous lump in my breast. Thankfully, it was stage 1, but I did end up having a mastectomy. It was a stressful time, and my friend was over a few days before my surgery. We got onto the topic of a boob voyage party from Jane the Virgin. I'd asked her if she'd throw me one of those parties to help me get my mind off of it. I thought she would put together a small girls' night, but she went all out. She invited all of my friends and my boyfriend and had an array of boob paraphernalia. It was funny and light-hearted and meant a lot to me to get all that support from my friends. During my recovery, my boyfriend confronted me and said that he hated the boob party. He thought it was tacky and he was offended that I hadn't asked him to put something together instead. He said that we're supposed to be going through it together and that I should have thought about his feelings and the fact that he doesn't like parties and wouldn't want to spend one of the nights leading up to my surgery like that. I told him that I'm sorry he felt that way, but it was really helpful for me and I was the one getting surgery and treatment. I told him I wanted to support him, but my feelings had to take priority under those particular circumstances, and the party helped me. He's still angry at me for refusing to apologise, for asking my friend to throw the party without asking how he felt about it first. It comes up now and again, and he still wants me to apologise. Am I the arsehole? Fried Taco says, so he went through a life-changing experience and he made it all about himself, not the arsehole. That video game nerd says, you'd probably be very shocked how many men make their wives or partners' diagnosis all about them. Hell, my father made ovarian cancer diagnosis in my teens all about him. The Reared Zenovus 12 replies, yep, pretty unforgettable that in the US, when a man is suffering through a serious illness, his chances of his wife leaving plummet to 5%. When a woman is suffering through a serious illness, her chances of her husband leaving jump to 20 to 25%. The fact that he found it tacky and put it all about him, man. She should have slapped his head straight off of his shoulders. What do you guys think about this story? Let me know in the comments below and don't forget to vote on the link in the description. Our next story comes from Romanville. Am I the arsehole for mansplaining my date's disability? At the beginning of lockdown, I was bored and on Tinder. Not unusual. I met this woman called Lara. We began talking and agreed that we should meet up once restrictions had been lifted. She very early into talking warned me that she was severely deaf, but I've met deaf people before, so this didn't bother me. She came over to my apartment and we at the beginning really got on. She didn't look exactly like her pictures, but I thought it wouldn't hurt getting to know her a little bit. A few minutes after we got situated and comfortable with each other, I asked her some questions about herself, which she didn't answer as she said they were too personal. She then made a comment about her deafness, so I took that as an opportunity to tell her what I knew and asked her if she ever considered a cochlear implant and such. She rudely interrupted me and told me I was getting some of my facts wrong, and when I asked her how she became deaf, she said it was meningitis, which I was unaware could cause deafness. So in the moment I laughed and said that wasn't true. She left half an hour after getting to my place and said I wasn't listening to her, nor was I getting my facts right. I got quite irritated by this, as I thought it was quite rude, so I told her I'd walk her back to hers, to which she refused, saying it was fine. I checked my phone later that evening and she sent me a long text before blocking me on everything, basically saying I'm a massive arse. When I told my friends about the date, they've all said that too. Am I the arsehole? Straight into the comments from Multi-Phased. You're the arsehole. You asked a deaf person how she became deaf and then laughed at her and called her a liar because of your own lack of knowledge about the situation. The correct response would have been, oh, I didn't know meningitis could cause deafness, not, haha, no, you're wrong about the cause of your own disability. Snakes in Your Pants says, I'm also amazed someone who claims to have any knowledge on deafness doesn't know meningitis can cause it. Like, that's fairly well known, at least for where I'm from it is. Sir Buttcube says, honestly, if I didn't watch Switched at birth, I wouldn't know meningitis caused deafness, but I also wouldn't have reacted as horribly as he did. The correct response to this is exactly as the commenter stated above, not accuse her of lying. To be fair, I didn't know meningitis causes deafness, so you learn something new every day. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below and don't forget to vote on the link in the description. Our next story is from Elena Broughton. Am I the arsehole for telling my daughter-in-law she needs to let my son be in the delivery room instead of her mother? My daughter-in-law Katie is currently 37 weeks pregnant with my first grandchild, a baby girl. I really love Katie. Her and my son have been together for about 6 years now and I have a good relationship with her. But we've recently come to a head on this discussion. Due to COVID, the hospital Katie plans on delivering her baby in has a one birthing partner limit, and instead of choosing my son, she chose her mother. My son claims that they had a discussion about it and he is okay with it, but I think it's completely inconsiderate of Katie to deprive my son of this incredible experience. Sure, her mother is her support system, but so is my son. Katie is also an extremely insecure girl and has said she doesn't want my son seeing her in that much pain and discomfort. Which, having 3 babies myself, I do understand, but I do not think is a good enough reason to not let my son see his baby being born. It's his baby just as much as hers. They come around to my house for dinner once a week, usually on a Wednesday, so last night. My son got up to go to the bathroom, so I decided to have a quick word with Katie. I wasn't pushy, I just suggested that she should have my son in the living room instead of her mother, as it was his right to be there. She said they agreed between themselves that it was okay, but I know my son and I just can't imagine him being okay with that. I asked her why she didn't want my son in the room, and she explained why, her insecurities, etc. And I told her she was being idiotic. For someone soon to be a mother, she sure is childish. She shouted for my son and my son was furious at me, telling me that it was okay with whatever Katie wanted, and that he'd only be outside, he'd get to see his daughter straight away. I said that wasn't good enough, and he said if I kept this up, I wouldn't be seeing my granddaughter at all, which is just ludicrous. Am I the arsehole? Throwaway says, you're the arsehole, she's the one passing a human out of her body. She's the one that decides who's in the room with her. Chi Lawyer says, I think it would be fine for the husband to be upset/hurt, but OP needs to stay in her lane. Educated Owl Athena says, exactly my thought. The son is okay with it and understands. OP needs to mind her own beeswax. You're the arsehole. Not Real Username replies, even if the son is not okay with it and is just going along with what the wife wants because it's easier, it's still not anyone else's place to interject. The only person who gets to oppose the wife's decision is her husband if he wants to be in the room. Personally, I think the wife needs serious therapy if she's too insecure to allow a person who she loves and helped her create life to be there when that life comes into the world, but that's not the issue. Mother-in-law went way too far in this case, and I think that's the main problem, is that Katie wants that. The husband's fine with it, even if he is upset he's not showing it and he's cool with the whole situation. So why is the mother getting so involved? It's like, back the fuck up. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on the link in the description. Our next story is from Oliver DeFreg. Am I the arsehole for drunkenly proposing to my girlfriend at my best friend's wedding reception? I was the best man at my best friend's wedding about 4 months ago. I've never been to a wedding before, but had a great time, and it was amazing to see my best friend since childhood get married. I have a pretty nervous disposition, so the fact I'll be making a speech at some point during the day, I drank a bit more than I should have done. My girlfriend and I have been together for about 3 years, and have decided that we're going to wait a bit to get married, as she's been through a lot recently. I'm not big on the whole marriage thing, so I told her I was absolutely fine and we'd wait. The wedding reception rolls around, I make my speech, I take advantage of the open bar. My girlfriend was also in the bride's wedding party, so she was off with her friends most of the day. It got to 10 PM and I was pretty drunk, so my girlfriend found me and took me outside to have some fresh air. Whilst we were there, we had a super amazing deep chat about life, and I thought to myself, why not? Let's propose. It was outside, but we're still in eye view of everyone in the reception, and a few people were already looking to make sure I was okay, as they knew how drunk I was. I proposed expecting her to be overjoyed, but instead she started crying and ran inside. My best friend came over and asked me what the fuck I thought I was doing, proposing at his wedding, and his new wife was pissed because instead of enjoying her wedding, she was now having to console my girlfriend, who was pissed off that I'd even thought of proposing whilst drunk. My girlfriend decided we need to take a break, and the majority of my friends aren't speaking to me. But I was drunk and I do love my girlfriend. Am I the arsehole? I kind of like how he says he had a super deep conversation in the middle, yet he was pissed up. I think it might have been deep from your side, but I think she probably saw it completely differently if you was as drunk as you say you were. The first comment from I'm Smitty3. You're the arsehole. You can't use because I was drunk as an excuse for your actions. Also, your girlfriend had told you she's not ready. Why put her on the spot at someone else's wedding? Clever wordplay says, there are very few acceptable moments where because I was drunk is a valid at a wedding. They include dancing your ass off and out of rhythm, singing very loudly and out of tune when shout comes on, thinking of jumping in a pool in your tux/dress post-wedding is good, crying tears of joy for your friend getting married. Luke DePoop says, I like to have thrown up in the smoking section because the wedding cocktails were margaritas and it was an open bar. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on the link in the description. Our next story comes from a deleted account. Am I the arsehole for pretending that my husband cheated when my prudish sister-in-law came over? I've been married for 7 years. We have a great marriage, though his brother's wife V has always been highly judgmental. She didn't think I was good enough to marry into the family, and since we both had kids at the same time, things have gotten worse. She doesn't like my parenting, my marriage, well, anything really. So my husband and I have a semi-open marriage. We're interested in swinging and threesomes, but if the person isn't there, it's crossing a line. My 2 daughters were at the house last night, so we invited my best friend / our sometimes threesome partner for a sleepover. V ended up coming over in the morning to drop something off. I kind of remembered her saying she was going to, but I didn't think we'd pick a day, and I thought she would text. She wanted to use the bathroom, which is fine, but while I was downstairs, she went into my master bedroom. She's nosy and has done this before. There is a guest one on the first floor of the house, and saw my husband and friend in bed. V came downstairs very upset, and I pretended that I was shocked. I guess I was convincing because V went upstairs and went off on my husband about how he's the same man he's always been. So she's lucky she got the good brother. He should be ashamed. He was sort of hungover and confused, but I gave it away by laughing, and then I flopped on the bed with them. Yeah, she doesn't think I'm funny. My brother-in-law called very upset, saying we shouldn't expose our sex lives like that, and that I've always been a mean girl. For the record, my husband thinks it's hilarious, and my friend doesn't care at all. She's much more open about her lifestyle than we are, so I'm curious, am I the arsehole? I'll just read this one comment from this one. I was prepared to be mad, but honestly that's hilarious, and it's entirely your sister-in-law's fault for going upstairs and going into your bedroom and your bathroom when she had a different one available. You weren't shoving anything in her face. She invaded what should have been your own private space, not the arsehole. And what do you guys think of this final story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on the link in the description. Anyway guys, a huge thank you to the members of our channel. Thank you for joining me. Thank you Annie Lucy for joining us today. It's really appreciated. If you did enjoy this content, please consider hitting that like, subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. And consider joining the channel through either the YouTube membership or the Patreon, as I'm hoping to take this whole membership thing a bit more seriously and give you something back as well. I'd love for this for one day. I know this is putting this out there. To be, if I could do this full time, would be absolutely amazing, but there's no way on earth I could rely on YouTube to do that, because simply if they demonetize me tomorrow, I'll be screwed. You know, I can't rely on that. I've got too many responsibilities in my life that rely on consistency, you know. And I hope that doesn't sound too much. I don't mean to, like, I'm not trying to put pressure on anyone or anything like that. You really do what you got to do, and I just appreciate every one of you for what you do for me. Even your watch time means the absolute world to me, so please don't take that as you gotta pay me, because I don't mean it like that. Anyway, if you did enjoy, there's another video on your screen right now as I speak. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Much love, guys.